But Don, I thought we were going to be talking about Henry Cavill. Why do you have a picture of Wolverine? Why are you starting off this video with Deadpool and Wolverine pays tribute to a Mission Impossible meme with its best cameo? Mostly because, well, I'm just looking out for long-term career security for Henry Cavill, okay, without providing too many spoilers, but at this point in time, the movie's into its second week. It's, cresting 600, well on its way to $1 billion, okay? So if you don't know that Henry Cavill is one of the cameo Wolverines, I don't know what to tell you. And frankly, his schedule is looking to be clearing up significantly, and if he wants to go ahead, and if Marvel is smart, given how perfect, again, like the man is perfect for so many roles. Perfect for The Witcher, they screwed that up. Perfect for Superman, Zack Snyder, instead of building with Lego, sticks him up his nose. Marvel at least looks to be trying to course correct, so if they want to go ahead after Secret Wars and recast the entire slate, properly bring in the X-Men, have Wolverine, be Henry Cavill, it's a slam dunk. Third time's a charm, maybe, okay, but yeah, I didn't realize because I heard that he was in the movie here real quick, but I heard the line that Deadpool delivered when, Henry turned around and Deadpool said, yeah, we'll treat you better than those guys up the road taking a shot at DC, a waka waka, but I didn't realize that he did the old reload his arms that he did in Mission Impossible Fallout, arguably the one role that he's taken in the past decade that hasn't been ruined. And Cavill's Wolverine loads up to show Deadpool that what he's made of. He does a very similar move with his arms. Whether it was an intentional homage to Fallout remains to be a bit of a question mark, but it's hard to imagine such a deliberate move was an accident. This is partly because Yang, interestingly enough, also served as a stunt coordinator on Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. So that's why, at least, people are starting to tear apart the writing and then just observing all of the cameos as the obvious key janglings they were to begin with. One thing that's not really getting that much stick are the fight scenes. So maybe tonally, maybe narratively, but all things considered, that's got to be the biggest W, especially when it comes to action scenes that Marvel has taken in, oh boy, a long time. Nothing was memorable in Phase 4 and Phase 5. I mean, all of the fight scenes were ass, but it's been a long time that anything under the Disney umbrella has had anything approaching tolerable in the combat arena. But yeah, I find the phrasing funny on this one, okay? A deliberate move was an accident. Hard to imagine such a deliberate move was an accident, which is also what I'm kind of seeing when it comes to that Warhammer 40K production, okay? Because Henry was the first one. I think he ended up breaking the news that, yeah, Amazon and him were collaborating on the Warhammer 40K project. What was that, at the end of last year, at the end of 2022? It's been a minute since, somebody let it slip that he was going to be doing something over there at Amazon. And then, of course, earlier this year, when all of the nonsense surrounding the female custodies popped up and how that may or may not have been done as a concession to try to stick a chick in it and make it lame for Amazon and their adaptation. And now, because, well, we haven't really heard much on an official front as to what Amazon is doing, there were some rumors a couple months back that Henry was upset by these changes. Henry was looking to be, potentially walking away, and now we have confirmation from the Games Workshop Games Workshop side of things that, yeah, the rumor that Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40K production at Amazon could be scrapped. I mean, this is not a good sign at all. That's why, we started off acknowledging Henry Cavill Wolverine because, well, man could be looking for work in the near future. And it's also another confirmation that, god damn it, man, Games Workshop, we know that they ended up falling, or at least you could see the cracks start to form in 2020 when they were in full embrace of all of the narrative surrounding the Summer of Love has in fact fallen in very hard times. Because this is a slam dunk, man. One of the most prominent and vocal fans of the of the Warhammer 40K franchise. You can't get anything going with somebody who has a generally high likability from everybody across the board. Sure, there's some weirdos that are out there, but everybody has detractors in some form or fashion. But when it comes to high-profile celebrities, I can't think of one that's just more universally liked than Henry Cavill. Somebody that everybody looks at and goes, god damn it, man, they've really screwed this guy over. And now that he can finally get a passion project to really sink his teeth into, we'll see what he can finally do. And now this ends up getting rugged out from underneath of him. I mean, He must have been just a horrific person in a previous life for him to be punished so much in this one. Holy. Once again, looking at that jawline, he's about the only guy who could fill the role of the main protagonist if, the Star Wars Outlaws game ever gets a live-action adaptation. But the Games Workshop, confirmed a rumor that an announced Warhammer 40K production being helmed by Henry Cavill at Prime Video could be scrapped. Oh, fantastic. Back in June, YouTuber Arch of Archcast, claimed the show or film that Games Workshop was working on with Amazon could be scrapped. Yeah, we talked about this. Now, he noted, right now, the agreement in principle between Games Workshop and Amazon appears to be in effect. This means that the team at Amazon, a team of writers, is right now trying to write out a story that is going to be turned into the Warhammer 40K TV show. They have, I believe, a few more months on this deadline for the project, and they have to hand it in, and then it either has to be greenlit or they have to have their writing date further postponed in the hope that they can produce something better further down the line, or the entire project will be shelved. He then adds, those are the three opportunities. Either they will have the project ready to go, they'll shelve the whole thing, or they'll extend the deadline. In other words, nothing is finalized yet. Absolutely nothing. There isn't even any money for the project allocated, as far as my insiders tell me on Amazon's behalf. So yeah, it is purely at the planning stage, and this was a couple of months ago. The rumor was confirmed by Games Workshop's annual report that details Games Workshop and Amazon are working together for a period of 12 months ending December 2024. Okay, so they have until the end of the year to agree to creative guidelines for the film and television series to be developed by Amazon. Could that potentially be an extension? Interesting. The agreement will only proceed if the creative guidelines are mutually agreed between Games Workshop and Amazon. We will update you accordingly. The report also details that if things do go well, Amazon has the rights to develop Warhammer Fantasy as well. Interesting. Under the terms of the agreement, Games Workshop has granted exclusive rights to Amazon in relation, so they have the first right of first refusal for films and television series set within the 40K universe, together with an option to Amazon to license equivalent rights for the Warhammer Fantasy universe following the release of the initial Warhammer 40K production. Games Workshop previously shared in a blog post in the middle of December 2023 that the company had come to terms with Prime Video and Amazon MGM Studios to have an adaptation of Warhammer 40K brought to both big and small screens. So yeah, Cavill talked about it a little bit earlier, but the official acknowledgement was at the end of last year. Okay. Back in December last year, we announced Games Workshop and Amazon Studios had signed an agreement in principle to work together to bring the 40K universe to screens big and small. Well, today we have an update, yes, and one we've been longing to hear. We now signed a full agreement, and the next stage can begin. The company also shared, all we can tell you right now is the elite band of screenwriters, sure, each with their own particular passion for Warhammer, well, you'd hope so, is being assembled to help bring the setting and the characters you love to the screen. This illustrious group will be championed by Henry Cavill, who stands ready to take his place as executive producer, bringing his pen, sword, and/or spear to the project. As for when the first project might arrive, Games Workshop detailed television and film production is a mammoth undertaking. It's not usual for projects to take 2 or 3 years from this point before something arrives on screen. True, and yeah, if you actually have a plan in place, which, yeah, that's great and all. I'm glad that you guys are actually taking these very necessary steps for the first time in a long time when it comes to a major franchise adaptation. It's just, you have such, rich source material and you can't come up with anything in like less than a year, really? Or I'd imagine you've probably been working on this longer than that and you're still up in the air on it. Yeah, something's wrong. Still, things are now properly rolling, and you can bet we'll be bringing you all the latest updates and cool snippets as soon as we're able. Cavill announced he was helming the Warhammer 40K cinematic universe shortly after he announced that he would not be returning to play Superman in James Gunn's Superman Legacy, which has now been rebranded as Superman, and we're going to be seeing that before we see anything in regards to 40K, because that just wrapped filming. It's crazy. Kind of crazy, right? Just as a bit of a tangent. James Gunn's Superman just wrapped filming. It has a July, I forget specifically the date, but a July 2025 release date. Next month, Fantastic Four First Steps is going to be filming. a film that didn't have a byline ended up acquiring one later, and then juxtaposed that with one that had a byline and then ended up losing it. But they're going to be filming starting next month, and it also has a July 2025 release date. Which one do you think is going to be better scripted? But anyways, now he shared the Instagram post in December of 2022. For 30 years, I have dreamt of seeing a Warhammer universe in live action. Now, after 22 years of experience in this industry, I finally feel I have the skill set and experience to guide a Warhammer cinematic universe into life. Partnering with Natalie Viscuso and Vertigo has been a blessing beyond words. Without her, we might not have found the perfect home at Amazon, and having a home like Amazon will give us the freedom to be true to the massive scope of Warhammer. To all of you Warhammer fans out there, I promise to respect the IP that we love. I promise to bring you something familiar, and I endeavor to bring you something fantastic that is, as of yet, unseen. But yeah, just running back over that old initial post from 2022, I promise to respect the IP that we love and to bring you something familiar. I kind of think, given the fact that we're in this trepidatious scripting period, Amazon Games Workshop is not trying to bring you something that is familiar, not trying to bring you something that is faithful to the IP. And we're in a Witcher type scenario where if Henry can't get what Henry wants, Henry's going to be walking away. We're going to end up with some sort of a skin suit interpretation that Amazon has become all too familiar with in regards to Wheel of Time. And then, yes, of course, as we're going to be reminded in the very near future of what they've done with Tolkien and what they'll continue to do with season 2 of Rings of Power. So this could end up being a blessing in disguise, potentially for Cavill. But then again, this is he had another stop-start in this guy's incredibly cursed Hollywood career. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.